Right, welcome to the solution to problem 6-4, which is located on page 244. Case construction company, 3-year-old business provides contracting construction services, blah, blah, blah. We've got some information and some jobs, school, residential, cinema. And we're asked to compute the cost of each job using the current system of cost allocation. So they use a job costing system and allocate on the basis of construction labor hours, allocate overhead on the basis of construction labor hours. Okay, so we're asked to, again, compute the cost of each job using the current system of cost allocation. So we're going to work on overhead first, I guess. And so total estimated manufacturing overhead, we're given that as 7,510,000 and we're told construction labor hours of 500,000 direct labor hours. So we get a rate of 15.02 per direct labor hours, construction labor hours, whatever, per labor hour. Okay. So that is, let's see, that's our rate, and we're asked to calculate, we've got direct materials, labor hours. Okay, so we've then got direct materials, and we're going to do school, residential, and cinema. So direct materials, we're told $824,000 for school, $1,034,600 for residential, and cinema, $1,425,000. All right, direct labor. Yeah, and of course we're not told anything to do with labor. We just have labor hours. So we have to work out their rate. Construction labor 9,800,000, labor hours 500,000. So if we do labor rate, this is overhead here, 9,800,000 divided by 500,000 labor hours, that should give us $19.60 per direct labor hour. So 1960 times, for school, 66,400. So this is 1960 times. For schools, it was 66,400, and so that should be 1,301,440. For residential, 729,120, and for cinema, 362,600. Again, we're taking our rate and then multiplying it by 66,400 hours for schools, 37,200 for residential, and 18,500 for the cinema. And then for the overhead, this is 15.02 times the appropriate number of construction or direct labor hours, so 66,400 for schools and residential and so on and so on. So this is going to be 1502 times 66,400 is 997,328. 1502 times 37,200 is going to give you 528,744. And for the cinema, 18,500 hours times our 1502, 277,000 $870. And so if we add all of these up, we can get schools 3,122,768. Residential 2,322,464, and cinema 2,065,470. Okay, so those are the costs per job using the current overhead allocation system. So now, number 2, let's look at the activity-based costing. We have to implement it. So the first thing is we do some analysis. We got some detail, and we need to calculate the activity rate for each of the 5 activities. Okay. So the activities are, let's give ourselves a bit more room here. Foundation laying, building, construction, painting, and finishing. So total overhead 1,685,000 divided by the activity 421 250 foundation laying hours. That's dollars. Construction 1,740,000. Painting 1,760,000. And finishing 2,325. So here we've got 500,000 construction labor hours, same as those direct labor hours from above. Painting hours and finishing hours, so 550,000 painting hours and 750,000 finishing hours. So our rates then work out to $4 per foundation laying hour. For construction, it is $3.48 per construction labor hour. Painting, $3.20 per painting hour. And finally, for finishing, $3.10 per finishing hour. There we go. Okay, so there's the activity rate, under A. And so now the question is coming up with a cost for each job. And so let's see. If we continue to lay it out as school, residential, and then cinema. So let's do foundation, construction, painting, and finishing. Foundation at $4, construction at $3.48, painting at $3.20, and finishing at $3.10 per hour. So then the school had 39,550 foundation laying hours times our $4 gives us 158,200. Residential had 38,550 times $4, 154. And the cinema had 44,250 times our $4, 177,000. Construction labor hours, $3.48 per times 66,400 for the school, 231,072. 348 times 37,200 for the residential, 129,456. And then for the cinema, 18,500 labor hours times 348 is 64,380. Painting, $3.20 per hour times 49,380 for the school gives us $158,016. 320 times 36,120 for residential works out to 115,584, and 47,660 times 320 gives us 152,512 for the cinema. And then finally, finishing at $3.10 per. We've got 41,460 finishing hours in the school, so multiply that together and you get 128,526. 60,600 times 310 gives you 187,860. 94,000 finishing hours times 310 gives you 291,400 for the cinema. So if we add all of these bad boys up, we get 675,814, 586,900, and 685,292. So there's the overhead. And so if we add direct materials and direct labor, which we calculated in part 1, so direct materials 824, 1034, 600, and 1425. And direct labor, 1,301,440, 729,120, and 362,600. We can come up with then a cost per job of 2,801,254, 2,350,620, and 2,472,892. All right, and now number 3. Both Kalagnanan and Case are wondering if using activity-based costing will eliminate the existence of under or over applied overhead. As a managerial accountant, explain to them whether the use of ABC will always result in zero under or over applied overhead. All right, so at the end of the day, both activity-based costing and job costing using a single plant-wide overhead rate, the rates are all based on estimates, right? So the over or under applied is the difference between the estimate and the actual. So switching to ABC will not reduce that because ABC also bases its allocation on estimates. But if the ABC system is designed well, then the allocation will be more accurate, and the more accurate you get, obviously the closer to actual you will have. So it should shrink the amount of over or under allocated overhead, but it won't eliminate it. And that concludes the problem.